Welcome to We Explain Things Quickly, where we help you make sense of things in under 10 minutes. Let's journey back in time to a world of stark, terrifying beauty and profound existential dread, and into the mind of one of cinema's great masters. We're exploring Ingmar Bergman's 1957 masterpiece, The Seventh Seal, a film that is not just a story, but a cinematic poem, a philosophical gauntlet, and one of the most iconic and haunting allegories ever put to film. Our story opens on a desolate, rocky shore, under a sky as gray and unforgiving as stone. A knight, his face etched with a weariness that goes far beyond physical exhaustion, lies collapsed on the beach. This is Antonius Block, the legendary Max von Sydow, a man returning to his native Sweden after 10 years away, fighting in the Crusades. He went searching for God and meaning in the Holy Land and found only disillusionment and suffering. He returns home to find not peace, but the Black Plague, a relentless pestilence that has turned his country into a landscape of fear and death. As dawn breaks, a figure appears. Cloaked in black, his face a pale, impassive mask, he introduces himself. It is death. He has come for the night. But Antonius Block, a man whose very soul is locked in a battle with doubt, is not ready to go. He needs more time. He needs answers. In a moment of desperate inspiration, he challenges death to a game of chess. The stakes are simple but immense. As long as the game continues, the knight lives. Death, intrigued by this mortal's audacity, accepts. And so begins the most high-stakes chess match in history, played not just for a life, but for the meaning of life itself. Block's quest is not for gold or glory, it is for knowledge. He confides to death during their game that his entire life has been a meaningless pursuit, and he now wants to use his reprieve to perform just one single meaningful act. More than that, he is tormented by the silence of God. In a world so full of suffering, where is the proof of a divine presence? Why can't I kill God within me, he cries in a moment of anguish. Why does he live on in this painful, humiliating way, even though I curse him and want to tear him out of my heart? This is his desperate gamble, to keep death at bay long enough to find certainty, be it in God's existence or in the terrifying void of his absence. Traveling with the knight is his squire, Yoff, a man who acts as Block's cynical, earthy shadow. While the knight wrestles with God, Yoff is a pragmatist and an atheist, a painter of grimly humorous murals who has seen the depths of human cruelty in the Crusades and has no time for metaphysics. "My gut is my guide, my feelings are my guide," he declares. He is the film's anchor to reality, his sharp, witty commentary slicing through the hypocrisy and fanaticism they encounter on their journey through the plague-ridden countryside. And what a world they'd travel through. This is no romanticized vision of the Middle Ages. Bergman plunges us into a society convulsing in fear. We witness a procession of flagellants who whip their own backs into a bloody pulp, screaming for God's mercy. We see a young woman, barely more than a child, being burned at the stake, accused of sleeping with the devil. When Block looks into her eyes for a sign of the supernatural, he finds only terror. The world is awash in superstition, hysteria, and opportunists who prey on the dying. It is a world teetering on the edge of the abyss, a perfect backdrop for a man questioning whether there is anything beyond it. But amidst all this darkness, Block and Yoff encounter a glimmer of light. They meet a small troupe of traveling actors or jugglers, Yoff, his wife Mia, and their infant son Mikael. This little family represents everything the world around them is not. They are simple, kind, and find profound joy in their love for each other and their art. Yoff is a gentle soul, a daydreamer who has literal beatific visions of the Virgin Mary. Mia is his practical, warm-hearted wife, the loving center of their small universe. They are the film's symbolic Holy Family. an island of innocence and grace in a sea of despair. The ongoing chess game serves as the film's spine. In quiet, tense interludes, the knight and death resume their match on a portable board. Death is not portrayed as a cackling villain, but as a calm, intelligent, and inexorable force of nature. He is a patient player, a skilled logician who listens to Block's spiritual torment with a kind of detached curiosity, all the while expertly maneuvering his pieces for the inevitable checkmate. These scenes are a masterclass in tension, a philosophical debate played out in moves and countermoves. The emotional climax of Block's journey is not a grand revelation from God, but a moment of profound, simple beauty. He comes across the family of actors resting in a field at dusk. Mia offers him a small bowl of wild strawberries and a bowl of fresh milk, a humble communion. As he sits with this loving family sharing their simple meal, the torment on his face finally softens. A flicker of peace washes over him. "I shall remember this moment," he says, his voice full of quiet wonder. "The silence, the twilight, the bowls of strawberries and milk, your faces in the evening light. I'll carry this memory between my hands as if it were a bowl filled to the brim with fresh milk, and it will be an adequate sign. It will be enough for me." And this one human connection, he finds the meaning that his 10-year crusade never gave him. This fortifies him to perform his one meaningful act. Later, when he knows the end is near and death has him cornered in the game, he sees the family of actors nearby. As death leans in to announce checkmate, Block deliberately sweeps his arm across the chessboard, scattering the pieces. The momentary distraction is all Death's focus, and in that instant, he gestures for the family to flee. They escape unnoticed. Block has lost the game, but he has won something far more valuable. The end comes swiftly. Block and his remaining companions, the squire, a blacksmith, his unfaithful wife, take refuge from a storm in the knight's castle. Death appears at the door to claim them. Each meets their end in a way that reflects their life. The knight in quiet, prayerful questioning, the squire in defiant, cynical silence. The next morning, the actor, Joff, safe with his wife and child, looks out towards the horizon. There, against a stormy sky, he sees a vision, a silhouetted procession of his new friends, being led over the hills by the cloaked figure of death, engaged in their final grim dance of death. Antonius Block never received a sign from God. His questions were met with silence. But in the end, Bergman suggests that wasn't the point. Block couldn't find meaning in the heavens, so he created it himself on Earth through a single act of compassion. The seventh seal is a powerful, haunting, and ultimately beautiful meditation on what it means to be human in a world that often seems meaningless, to have faith, to have doubts, and to find our salvation not in divine promises, but in a shared bowl of wild strawberries.